What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Project Ozone Lite. Oh yeah, guys. So last episode, we were setting up different power here. We were using our crude oil cow to start powering some dynamos. And since then, I have upgraded the storage that we were containing our crude oil in. So now we have 270 buckets of the stuff. Yeah, I upgraded to a demonically gargantuan drum, similar to what we did for our lava drum before. So yeah, we are going to start collecting more of the crude oil, just so we have a large supply of it. I added in 2 more of our compression dynamos, so we're now making, what is it, 112 RF per tick, off all 3 of those. I've upgraded the power cable to the enhanced energy conduit, which means that I've made some of the alloy stuff. Let's take a look at this. Alloy, put my fingers in the right keys. We had to make some of the energetic alloy here, which is redstone, gold, and glowstone in an alloy smelter, right? So we made some of that. And then I've also made some of the vibrant alloy, which is that same stuff we just made, the energetic alloy, with some ender pearls. Yeah, so I've made both of those. We made some of these conduit here so we can run more power. Also, our cable that we had upstairs was already that energetic alloy, so I figured we might as well just keep all of our cable the same until we finally upgrade it to the higher tier. But this stuff does pretty good. It does like 50,000 RF per tick. The vibrant alloy version does about 100,000. I think it says 99,999 for that. But anyway, this will get us by for quite some time. So yeah, we made some more of that, and then I've just been kind of playing around here trying to get some things hooked up, and yeah. So yeah, all of this conduit down here has been upgraded and so on and so forth. So what we want to do today is we want to start making our crude oil into the refined fuel, and that's going to require us to make a few more machines. I was kind of wanting to see, since we set up the ME controller over here, I kind of want to see how much power that thing's going to take. In Project Ozone 2, the power was like turned way down on something like this. So even with a huge controller and all the stuff that I had running, it was using like 2 RF. It was like ridiculously cheap how much power I was using. So on the bottom side of our energy acceptor here, I have a cable ran all the way over to our controller, but it's not hooked up yet. I did use a little bit of power from our stored basic capacitor here. You can see that we're gaining power at about 130 RF per tick gain. That's with this system running right here. And I think, yeah, this guy is running, producing 30 RF, and our 3 downstairs, the dynamos, are doing another 112. But with everything running together, we are getting a net gain of 130 RF per tick, right? So I wanted to see if we connect this up. Let me grab some ME cable here. I think we got a little bit more. Yeah, just a little bit. I'm gonna have to make more of those things for sure. All right, let's see what happens if we connect this guy up and actually turn this thing on. Whoop. Right there, right there. Everything should be connected and it's lit up. Nice. Okay, so that is, oh. So those are getting power and then losing power. I think each one of these controller blocks, even though it's like a multi-block, yeah, these have full power. I think each one of these contains its own 16,000 RF. So each one is like its own little power energy cell thing. Anyway, let's take a look at our battery over here and see what we're doing. Oh man, we are losing 1,800 RF per tick, and now it's dropped down to 842. So I think what's happening here, like we saw over there, each of the different controllers has 16,000 RF that it can contain, so all of those different ones had to fill up, and now the running cost just to keep everything full is 842 RF per tick. Well, it's more than that because we were gaining 120 RF per tick. So yeah, we're using quite a lot of RF to keep that thing going. So we're gonna have to boost up our RF generation quite a lot if we want to use this controller. Otherwise, they can take it apart a little bit and only use a section of it. We'll see what we do here. But yeah, that's gonna require a lot of power to keep that thing running. Quite a bit different than I remember in Project Ozone 2, right? Anyway, so that's what we have to work with for right now. We can put away this glass cable. I think I might have lost one. We had 6 before, didn't we? Yeah, there's one right there. Got it. Okay, so let's look at increasing the power generation that we have, and we're going to be doing that by taking the crude oil that we are generating off our cow, and we're going to try putting it through the fractioning still to make this stuff, which we saw before does generate more power than the crude oil itself, which generates, so that's 400,000. This stuff right here is like 3 times more, a little bit more than 3 times more. It's a lot better anyway. So we can do that through one still, and then we can do it again through another still to make the refined fuel, and that does a heck of a lot more. I think that's just going to be more efficient, and then we can look at increasing the output of the dynamos once we got the better fuel. So first step, we need to make these fractioning stills, so that's copper gears, redstone reception coil. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, redstone reception coil, machine frames, and glass, and nickel. Not that bad. Let me go ahead and craft one of those, and we'll be right back, guys. Fractioning still made. Aw, yeah. All right, so here's our guy here. You can see the interface looks pretty much what we're looking at in JEI. We have a power input, we have a fluid input, we have an item output, and a fluid output. So, yeah, nothing too crazy, right? All right, so let's try hooking this thing up. It does say it requires 20 RF per tick in order to convert the fluid. All right, so breaky this guy and set it right there. Okay, so we are getting power, right? We aren't getting any fluids. I do believe if you shift right click on the center there, it unsets everything. So we want the back to receive. We'll do it on, no. We want it on blue. There we go. So that's receiving fluid, right? Receiving power, receiving fluid, and it's already doing stuff. We don't have to tell it to do anything. So now we're getting tar balls, and we're getting, okay. So it does 100, or I guess a tenth of a bucket, 100 millibuckets per operation. And we can speed this up if we give it augments and accelerations, upgrades, and all those things. That probably will make it use more power. I don't know if it's more efficient to let it go at the slower speed, or if you want to increase it. I don't know. Again, the uses for those tar balls, looks like you can replace them. Pretty much it's the same thing as a slime ball. You can burn them if you want to, so that's more power that we can generate off of them if we so choose. Looks like we can also put it through a magma crucible to get creosote oil, which we can also burn. I don't know what we want to do. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of these tar balls. We'll have to figure that out. It might be a way to reclaim more power off our crude oil. Okay, this is the stuff that we wanted though, and then we can further refine this into another fluid. So it might be a thing where we want to stack these on top of each other. Have the crude oil coming in the bottom, get refined into this, have this go into the next one and get refined into the refined fuel. So I think it might be worth just making another fractioning still right away instead of even trying to mess around with that stuff. Yeah, this is a pretty easy thing to make. They're not expensive in this mod pack at all. And we have like pretty much all the resources ready to go to make everything. So how did I get Fluix crystals in my inventory? I have no idea how that happened. All right, there's that. And finally, there is one more fractioning still. So we will need another power source, or another cable, I guess, so we can link it all up. But yeah, we should be able to take the output fluid from the first one, input it into the second one, and just go right to the refined fluid. So let's try doing that. On the top here, we'll do an output. I guess a red is where we want this to go, the fluid. Set that right there. Again, we will shift right click. We'll do input onto the bottom, and then the output. We might want the output coming out here or onto the back and then over into these. Yeah, I don't really know. For right now, let's just not output anything. Okay, so we do need to give this thing some power, so we'll do something. There we go. Again, for the power, I'm gonna set these to insert. Right, I did on the right one. Insert. I guess the fluid is fine for being set to insert as well. Okay, so everything should be good. So it is now taking, does that take 100? Yeah, it looks like it does 100 millibuckets at a time, a tenth of a bucket, and then turns it into the other. Okay, yeah. So for 40 RF per tick total, we are currently taking crude oil and turning into this refined fuel, which makes like 5 times more power, I think is what it was. It's a lot. It's so worth doing this. And we're also getting the byproduct, getting sulfur. And then these tar balls. Is it sulfur? Doesn't look like that's burnable. What are the uses for sulfur? Is that just a crafting component, or can we use that for something? We can use it to make pyrotheum. That's gonna be good. We can make the AFLN things. Those are something you don't want to play around with in your base. And then we can also use in the chemical oxidizer and mechanism to turn into sulfur dioxide, which will allow us to get into the 5XOR processing. I'm not sure if that's going to be something that we're going to need, but it is something that we could do with this sulfur that we are collecting. So that's pretty cool. So the next step is we're going to want to take this fluid here and start putting it into our compression dynamos. So these things start running a little bit more efficiently. We have a lot of crude oil that's still in these things. I don't know if we can extract that out and then convert this over. Probably at the same time going to want to upgrade our fluid pipes. We're currently using these basic ones. There's fluid conduit that doesn't have the internal fluid. It's just better overall for performance if you don't have the fluid rendering in there and all of that stuff. So I think we might do that. So give me a few moments here. I'll let this thing run for a while. We'll get some extra refined fuel being cooked up, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, so a little bit of time has passed, and I've been making some different upgrades and some augments here. So I made 5 hardened upgrade kits and 5 reinforced upgrade kits. So we can upgrade our dynamos and our 2 fractioning stills to the reinforced versions. I've made some more augments here for our dynamos. So one's gonna go in for an increased output, and one's gonna go in for increased efficiency. So it won't use as much fuel, and it'll also make more power, right? I was looking here and I saw there is a compression dynamo specialization that greatly increases power generation and efficiency. You can only put one specialization in, is what this thing says. And also says only refined fuel can be utilized. So once we get to running only refined fuel, this might be something we want to look at, but it did require pyrotheum and some hardened glass and these plates and things that we just don't have yet. So we'll be looking at upgrading to these a little bit later, but for right now, we'll just use our other augments. I think that'll be just fine. Okay, so let's go down here and take a look at these things. I did replace the fluid conduit down here with the ender fluid conduit. So these no longer have an internal inventory. It's point A to point B kind of transfer. So that's pretty good. I put a demonically gargantuan drum on top of our top fractioning still. So we are collecting refined fuel. We're up to 14.5 buckets of the stuff. Pretty good. Yep, and then I added some drawers over here with void upgrades. So as this is processing stuff, the secondary items go into these drawers. And then if we get over 2048, it'll just start deleting the additional ones. I might put in extra things in here so it can hold more than the base 2048. I don't know. I don't know how important having this stuff is, but since we are getting it essentially for free, we might as well hold on to some of it. But anyway, so those are the changes that I've made so far. I did want to show you guys though, if you have different fluid conduits and you're upgrading older ones, you can just right click the new ones on there. Like you don't have to remove the old ones, they just replace them and the old ones get placed into your inventory. This works for any of the conduits, like if you're upgrading power conduits or the fluid or the, I guess there's only one type of item conduit, so I guess it only pretty much apply to those two most of the time. But yeah, it does reset it, so you do have to set all of your conduits back the way you wanted them before. And insert, and this will be extract, always active. Another thing about these particular conduits is there are filters on there, so you can say, okay, this is only going to allow water through if you want to do that. If we wanted to run the same conduit that's pulling the crude oil into this bottom one and connect our fuel to the same one, we would have to set the filters over here on our receiving dynamos to be like, hey, we only want refined fuel. We don't want any more of the crude oil. So that's a thing we'd have to worry about. Currently, we are letting out all the crude oil. It's almost completely ran out. We could just break these with a pick and replace them to delete the internal inventory, but I'm just letting it run out naturally. So we'll place some of these fluid conduits over here. like so. We'll set these to insert and insert, and again insert. And I think we'll just run the fluid conduit over on a separate thing that goes right into the drum like so. I guess I could have gone one forward, but whatever, that works just fine. And we'll set this to extract, always active. So once these run out of the crude oil, it'll switch over to bumping these up into fuel, which will be a lot more efficient for these things to run. Okay, so now we can start upgrading these machines. So I'll just right click the hardened upgrade kit on there. You can see that it is just changing the little color in the outside. Now when we look at it, it's compression dynamo hardened. We can upgrade these machines too, all right? We'll do the same thing to the reinforced. Now what this really does is this increases the amount of power that these machines can hold, like these in particular. The more power the thermal expansion machines hold, the faster they do things. So you can see it's going, I think that is going a little bit faster, although we probably should have looked at it first before to compare it. But anyway, these guys right here should have 2 augment slots. So we'll go ahead and put the transmission coil in there for increased output, and then one for the increased efficiency. So we're now making 160 RF per tick off this one dynamo, which is way better than what we were doing before. So yeah, I guess just upgrading it to the reinforced version makes these do 80 RF per tick. So do that and that. All right, so 160 RF. That is so much more power than what we were making before. I like it. All right, so those are going to be going pretty good. Probably going to be using fuel a little bit faster than what it was before, I would imagine as well. All right, so these guys over here, they're holding 40,000 RF. If we put in both augments in there, you can see it increases the amount of internal power this thing can store. And this is going to start going a lot faster because of that internal power storage. Yep, there we go. All right, so that's definitely going faster. So this should be increasing. Previously, we were staying steady. They were both going at the same speed. And you can see the difference right here. The speed difference between the two of them. So yeah, it's so much more faster now. All right, we'll add those in there, and then we can start processing the fuel at the same rate on both of them. This will always stay at about 1,800 now, or 1,900, whatever. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. So we'll be getting the refined fuel a lot faster, and these should be, yeah, they're using their crude oil a lot faster than they were before as well. So these should be about ready to start receiving the fuel, the refined fuel. And then I don't know if that increases the amount of power. I think it might just be how much longer the fuel lasts inside of them. Yeah, so it's still doing 160 RF. Oh, that one changed. Wonder why this one's got... Is that supposed to be the color of the fuel that's inside? And why is that one brown? These are yellow. I think that might be it. Not entirely sure. So that probably used a good portion of what we had stored over here. Yeah, we had 6.7 buckets now. And that's going to be ticking up. And then these things are going to be using it. Okay, so that color did change. That's kind of cool. So yeah, we're now making what, like 400 RF per tick or something? I don't know. We could probably hook up this thing again and see how much power the difference is. But yeah, we're definitely making a lot more. And that's going to be even better once we upgrade these to use a specialization specifically to run the refined fuel. That's pretty cool. I like that. I added 2 more dynamos here, fully upgraded them like our other ones, and we're still not making enough power to keep our ME controller going. So we're making fuel, right? We have enough here that we've made 64 buckets, even though each one of these have taken 4 buckets each, I believe is what the internal is, and they've been running and they've been doing stuff. So yeah, we're still making this faster, but we are starting to run lower on our crude oil. Eventually we're going to run out of crude oil, and we'll be making 1 bucket every minute from Mr. Cow here. I would like to try and get ourselves a second one of these crude oil cows, at least until the point where we can get ourselves a refined fuel cow and just skip this whole process. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure that our fuel supply is still coming in and we're never going to run out. I will end up having to probably double the amount of dynamos we have here to keep our ME system going at this point. I want to make sure we're going to keep up with the fuel. So, I've made myself a grinder here so we can start killing monsters to make mob essence. And then I am trying to make an auto spawner at this point in time. The auto spawner, we have everything except the one piece that goes in the top center there, the nether wart. We have everything except for nether wart. Well, nether wart is one of those things you can go to the nether and find a fortress, and hopefully somebody else hasn't found it before you, and then you can get it. It looks like we can get nether wart other ways in this pack, so let's explore that. It looks like you can sift soul sand with a string mesh to get a 10% chance, I guess, is one way of doing it. Loot bags is kind of a way that I wanted to do, and it looks like every tier loot bag contains nether wart. I don't know what the percent chance drop is for that in any of these. It doesn't really say, but it does show nether wart is appearing in each one of these different types of bags. So I mentioned before that I wanted to get some kind of the loot capacitors going. So I think now is probably a good time for us to start popping open some of these loot bags and see if we can get something good here. So let's put all the stuff into this diamond chest. We have how many? 142 of these legendary bags. Let's grab a few of those. Oh, I don't know, that many. And like I said before, you can shift right click onto a chest and it'll dump everything that would have appeared in that legendary loot bag into here. So Blacker Lotus is good. Shears of Winter, Detector Rail. We got some diamonds out of that. Want some more rails. Another Blacker Lotus. Overgrowth Seed is good. Let's just go ahead and start popping. Oop, I guess I was going too fast. So we're gonna pop these a little bit faster here and try and get all of these opened, and hopefully we'll get that nether wart and some other good stuff maybe. We got another mega rubber sapling, a fire water bucket. I'm not sure if that's useful. Here we go. Here's one of our capacitors. Good clean cut, good planting, enhanced capacitor. I believe the clean cut works in the slice and splice. So we have a new upgrade for that. I don't see nether wart. Nope. This is a nice one, this conduit probe. This is one where you can copy the settings from one conduit and paste it onto another one, so that'll be useful for later. But yeah, I'm not seeing any nether wart here. Let's try a few more. That should be good. They go a little bit slow, so it auto refills. Otherwise, you're gonna have to keep opening the inventory and shifting them into where I'm clicking. Yeah, no nether wart. I wonder for something like that, if it would be better for opening the lower tier bags. I don't know. Definitely getting a lot of iron stuff. Let's try. I just keep popping these out. All right, so we got a few of those. Let's try popping some of these in here. Maybe we'll get another wart this way. Otherwise, we're gonna have to figure out another way to get this stuff. And no nether wart. Definitely getting a lot of interesting items in here. Sharpness 3, that's not bad. You got some emeralds, got some diamonds. The Blacker Lotus is definitely something I'm interested in. Okay, well, I tell you what, I'm gonna open a few more of these off camera here, see if I can get anything else good, and then we'll be back. Well, I thought I was gonna be smart and use our loot bags and not have to leave our base to find nether wart. Unfortunately, I've opened up a bunch of the legendary ones, a bunch of the epic ones, and a whole lot of the first tier ones, and we didn't get a single nether wart. So yes, I went to the nether and I went flying around here and I found ourselves a fortress. So this is like the basic way, I guess, the vanilla way of trying to find nether wart. I was hoping that we'd be able to do it a modded way without having to resort to coming to find one of these fortresses or strongholds or whatever, but you know, it is what it is. I saw there was a chest back there and I looked in there and there was, oops, please. And there was just some gold. Let's take a look. Aha, yeah, just some gold, and then there's biome crystals. I can't remember what the biomes crystals are used for. I think there's something like for changing biomes, but I'm not 100% sure. But while we are here in the nether, we could use some blaze rods. The next tier cobblestone generator does require those, so it might not be a bad idea to try and find some blaze here, kill them, get enough rods to upgrade our cobblestone generator. So I think I'll spend some time here just kind of going around. I don't know if we'll find a blaze spawner or not. I know some of the other people here on the server have been going through to these things. Oh, there's one right here. Okay, so easy for us to find a blaze spawner then. Was really expecting us never to be able to find a fortress that wasn't looted or a blaze spawner or anything like that. So I'll spend some time here. I'll farm up some blaze rods, probably try and get about a stack, I think, and then we'll be back, guys. Alright guys, so I placed the grinder right here next to our mob mashers. Just removed one of our stone slabs that's keeping the light out, placed it right there, and then put the solar panel that we've had on top of our basic capacitor over there, right here to power this thing up. So we're getting a little bit of power, nothing too crazy. And I just made an iron drum. So what this is going to do is when monsters get pushed to the center, this thing should be able to see it. I think it works in a 3x3 or a 5x5 area. It should be able to see the mobs on either side, kill them, and then it should make some of the essence. I think it might shoot some of the items out into the world, but doesn't really matter. It's not going to be too many monsters that we're going to kill. So the only thing we really need to do is just back away from that thing to let monsters spawn. And then the grinder should do its work, kill the monsters, and then start producing that essence. That's the only thing we really care about at this point. Yeah, so you can see right now the drum just turned green. So it is doing work over there. I don't know if that solar panel is going to be able to keep up, though. That's the only thing. Like, how much power do we have in here? We have enough power. Oh, you know what? This thing might, if it can't put items anywhere, it might be stopping it from working. Let's remove this. Okay, so now it's shooting the items out into the world. It's got 13,000 power, and then we're probably on a cooldown right now. So once that reaches 0, it should knock out the rest of these monsters here. Yeah, and then it just throws the items out into the world. Okay, so that's something I wasn't really thinking about. Didn't kill that skeleton for some reason. That reason would be it's out of power. Anyway, we got 2.6 buckets of essence. Not a whole lot. We should probably figure out a better solution for this. Maybe like a chest down here. Energy conduit with the solar on top. I think that's probably what we need to do. Okay, let me go and rearrange this so this will just work, collect some essence, and we'll look at spawning in another one of our cows. Alright guys, I think we're ready to go here. So we got our auto spawner. We have a drum that has 14.8 buckets of essence in there. I think that's going to be enough. I don't really know how much needs to go in here for a spawn. But I feel like that might be enough. So let's just place that right like that. So we will extract out of the drum, always active, and then insert into here, right? We want a spawn exact copy, yes. Cool. All right, so now we need to get ourselves, oop, I thought I grabbed it and I didn't. We need to grab ourselves our safari net to grab the cow. Yeah, we want this safari net. All right, so we'll grab our cow here. Hopefully we will be able to do an exact copy and make another one of these and not just some random move fluid cow, but we might want to do random move fluid cows at some point to maybe get some better ones. We have been getting some other spawns, and I've made some soul vials over here and captured them in here. So we currently have our night slime cow, a lumite cow, witch water. Another one of those spawned in. Our first one just, I guess, walked off the edge or something. A pink slime. That's pretty useful. Resonant ender. Tin. And sublimated carbon, which is the molten carbon stuff from Passwords things. So with that cow, we can make infinite carbon, which could be pretty cool. I don't really know what we'd need a lot of carbon for. I haven't really looked into the mod too much, but, you know, it's just a thing we could do. All right, so now we should be able to grab some power right off this thing here. Let's just bring it over. Should be good enough. Come down here, and we can just connect right like that. Cool. All right, so this is, yeah, it's got full power here. It's going to spawn in another cow. And this is a crude oil cow. Awesome. So we could probably spawn in 3 or 4, maybe 5 of those, and just make sure we have a lot of these cows here to keep in here to make sure that our crude oil drum stays full. Yeah, this is going to be good. So this thing has 5 buckets remaining, and it's still got 4 buckets in here. I think we might be okay. Let's go extract. We'll go insert. And can we extract all this fluid out of here? Oh yeah, okay, so we can pull the fluid back out of there. That's not a big deal. Although it is going out of there quite slowly, isn't it? Or maybe it's not even going out of there at all. Maybe it's just not being filled back up as it's spawning in more of these cows. Oh no. Okay, well, we got plenty of these cows now. So what we can do is grab our safari net that's in here. Place it back like that. Grab another cow. Yep. And right there. I think we can put a few of them in that spot. I don't know if we need this many, right? But having more than one is definitely a good thing. And if we want to be safe and make sure we always have one of these cows, I can make another one of those solarium jars. What are they called? They're not solarium. They are called soul vials. Make another soul vial jar and put one of these cows in it. All right, so here's another one. In you go. Nice. And then our last one over here. All right. Yeah, I probably will grab a soul vial, I think, and put one of those in there just to make sure. Who knows, maybe somebody runs a command at some point, deletes all the animals in the world or whatever. I would like a way to be able to go back. Now, I am pretty certain that when this thing goes through its idle, it's going to look at all the different cows here and start milking them, or I guess ranching them. And then we should be able to get like 8 buckets or however many of these things we have. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 more buckets every time. Although they might be on different cooldowns at this point. Yeah, I'm not really sure how it's going to work, but we're definitely going to be collecting our crude oil a lot faster, which is going to be great. So I think we'll probably leave it off there for today. We're well on our way to being able to start running a huge applied energistic system. It's probably bigger than what we need, to be completely honest, and it's a lot of power for a very early game, but yeah, we're well on our way. I'll make a few more dynamos. We'll be making a bit more power. We can look at upgrading these guys over here to the next level so it can process that fluid faster. But yeah, I think that is going to be pretty awesome. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.